You're watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 12th of January. German Chancellor pushes for closer ties with India to reduce reliance on Russia. Indian Army on alert after Pakistani drone spotted in Jammu and Kashmir. And Baloch activist accuses Pakistan of systematic disappearances. And now for all the details. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz on Monday called the India-Germany partnership a strategic asset as the two sides signed key agreements to boost cooperation. Merz said Berlin wants to deepen security and defense ties with New Delhi to reduce India's reliance on Russia, while also pushing for an early conclusion of the India-EU free trade agreement. A report.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, during his visit to India, on Monday said that his country wants to cooperate more closely on security issues with India to reduce New Delhi's reliance on Russia. The countries signed a memorandum of understanding to that effect during Merz's first trip to the South Asian nation, in addition to agreements on critical minerals, the health sector, and an artificial intelligence innovation center. The German Chancellor called the India-Germany partnership a strategic asset at a time of global geopolitical and technological shifts, urging both sides to deepen economic, security, and innovation-led cooperation.
It's no coincidence that India is the first Asian country I'm visiting as Chancellor. It comes at a time where profound global changes are challenging us. Technological transformation and geopolitical uncertainty affect the way our economies operate and compete. Against this backdrop, the partnership between Germany and India is a strategic asset, economically, politically, and in a global context.
On the strategic front, India and Germany signed multiple MOUs covering security cooperation, critical minerals, healthcare, and an artificial intelligence innovation center aimed at building secure, trusted, and resilient supply chains. Merz also called for India and the European Union to conclude negotiations on a free trade agreement with his visit intended to provide impetus for concluding a deal by the end of January. Merz warned that the global renaissance of protectionism harms both economies.
भारत और जर्मनी जैसे देशों की अर्थव्यवस्थाओं के बीच करीबी सहयोग पूरी मानवता के लिए महत्वपूर्ण है। बढ़ते व्यापार और निवेश संबंधों ने हमारे स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप को नई ऊर्जा दी है। हमारा द्विपक्षीय व्यापार अब तक के अपने सर्वोच्च स्तर पर पहुंच चुका है।
During his visit, Merz also toured the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad, once home to independence leader Mahatma Gandhi, and attended the International Kite Festival at the Sabarmati riverfront. Modi and Merz flew kites during the event. Merz, who is accompanied by a large business delegation, is later scheduled to travel to southern Bengaluru city to meet Indian and German business and technology leaders.
And multiple suspected Pakistani drones were spotted along the international border and the line of control in Samba, Rajouri and Poonch districts of India's Jammu and Kashmir on Sunday, prompting a high alert and intensive search operations. Officials said at least 5 drone movements were detected in forward areas. In Rajouri's Naushehra sector, army troops opened fire after a drone was sighted over a village around 6:35 p.m. Similar sightings were reported in Samba's Ramgarh sector at about 7:15 p.m., while another suspected drone was seen along the LOC in Poonch around 6:25 p.m. Following the incidents, joint search operations involving the army, police and other security agencies were launched. The sightings come days after arms allegedly dropped by a Pakistani drone were recovered near the international border in Samba, raising concerns over increased drone-based cross-border smuggling and infiltration attempts.
यहाँ हमेशा ये खतरा रहता है कि क्योंकि कश्मीर में हाई रीचेस में हैवी स्नोफॉल हो जाता है, तो इस एरिया को पाकिस्तान एक्टिवेट करने की कोशिश करता है विंटर में। ये पहले भी देखा गया, लेकिन आजकल ड्रोन्स की एक्टिविटी जो सस्पेक्टेड देखी गई है उस पर फायर भी किया गया है। तो लगता है कि पाकिस्तान या तो सर्विलेंस कर रहा है या कोई ड्रग्स और हथियारों की सप्लाई ड्रॉप कर रहा है।
Moving on, supporters of Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party held a rally in Karachi on Sunday, calling for the release of the country's former Prime Minister. The Sindh provincial government had granted PTI permission to hold a public gathering at Baghe Jinnah Park, but the party cited a delay in receiving a permit and announced a last-minute change to a gate of Mazar-e-Quaid, the mausoleum of the nation's founder. Despite the change, PTI supporters congregated at the originally advertised venue. Senior PTI member Sohail Afridi, the Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, claimed police used shelling to disperse the crowd, according to local media. Further disturbances were reported as police moved to break up gatherings. Several media vehicles were vandalized after local media crews halted their coverage of the events. PTI officials claimed the party faced obstacles in reaching its chosen venue and that its supporters were met with police intervention. And Pakistan's security establishment is facing fresh allegations of enforced disappearances in Balochistan, with activist Hakeem Baloch claiming that more than 8 women and girls, including an 8-month pregnant woman, were abducted in the past year alone. We have a report.
Accusing Pakistan's security establishment of continuing to rely on enforced disappearances as the primary tool of control in its Balochistan region, activist Hakeem Baloch has said that despite years of international scrutiny, these abductions, with a high involvement of women and children, reflect a deepening phase of state repression. Speaking to ANI, he said that more than 8 to 10 Baloch women and girls were abducted in the past year alone, including a 15-year-old and an 8-month pregnant woman.
Abduction of Baloch women is not a new trend. It has happened in past, but the way Pakistani state is abducting women only in last year, there have been more than 8 to 10 cases where Baloch girls, a girl as old as 15-year-old Nasrina Baloch was picked up, Majibeen, a woman who is 8 months pregnant, she was picked up along with another family member of her, a female family member of her. So there's so many cases that the Baloch women are being targeted by the Pakistani state.
Hakeem Baloch said targeting women reflects a deliberate escalation by Pakistani authorities to pressure families and deter participation in the Baloch movement. He alleged the state is using baseless propaganda to justify arrests by falsely linking the women to armed groups like the Baloch Liberation Army's Majid Brigade, adding that no evidence has been produced and many detainees were not even presented before courts or female police personnel.
Now, the Baloch women are being targeted because the Baloch women are leading the Baloch struggle at the moment in Balochistan, be it in shape of the Baloch Ekchati Committee, where Dr. Maharang Baloch, Sammideen Baloch, Bibo Baloch, Gulzadi Baloch, Dr. Sabia Baloch, and all other leaders, the female leaders, are actually leading the Baloch national struggle for the rights of the Baloch people. They're demanding.
Moving on, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to ensure that the rights of Tamils in Sri Lanka are safeguarded in the island nation's proposed new constitution. In a letter, Stalin warned that the ongoing reforms could marginalize the Tamil community and risk reviving ethnic tensions if equality and devolution of power are not ensured. Stalin alleged that the Sri Lankan government under President Anurakumara Dissanayake is fast-tracking constitutional changes that appear to reinforce a unitary Ekaiya Rajya model, ignoring Tamil aspirations for political autonomy. Citing the Thimpu Principles of 1985, he stressed a recognition of Tamils, self-determination and a federal governance structure. Highlighting India's historic role, including the 1987 Indo-Sri Lanka Accord, Stalin said New Delhi has a moral and strategic responsibility to engage Colombo. The Chief Minister highlighted that Sri Lankan Tamils have faced systematic discrimination, violence and denial of rights for over 7 decades. He warned that continued discrimination against Sri Lankan Tamils could affect regional stability and bilateral ties. The second special general convention of the Nepali Congress kicked off in Kathmandu on Sunday against the backdrop of a deepening intra-party rift. The two-day event that concluded on Monday brought together hundreds of elected delegates from across the country and was led by General Secretaries Gagan Kumar Thapa and Bishwa Prakash Sharma in the absence of party president Sher Bahadur Dweba. The convention had been opposed by Dweba's establishment faction, sparking debate over whether it would lead to reforms or further divisions within the party. Thapa and Sharma defended the convention's legitimacy, stating it was demanded by over 54% of elected representatives, exceeding the 40% threshold required under party statutes. The convention was held just 8 weeks ahead of March 5, 2026 general election, called after the resolution of the House of Representatives following the Gen Z-led uprising in September.
यो जन्मिदाखेरि कांग्रेस थियो होला हामी जन्मिदा कांग्रेस थियौं मर्दै गर्दा कांग्रेस भएर मर्ने छौं कांग्रेसलाई विभाजित गर्ने होइन हामी आगामी दिनमा कांग्रेसलाई इस्पात जस्तो बनाएर लिएर आउने छौं त्यो भन्नका लागि यो जमात आज यहाँनिर उपस्थित छ हामी कांग्रेसलाई टुक्र्याएर होइन हामी सिंगो कांग्रेसको नेतृत्व गर्ने गरी अघि बढ्छौं हामी सिंगो कांग्रेससँगै सिंगो देशको नेतृत्व गर्ने गरी अघि बढ्छौं
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.